This is why I need you. And everyone talks now, but no one is right. There are too many armies with no one to fight. This is why I need you, 'cause you make the darkness less dark. You make the edges less sharp. You make the winter feel warmer. And you make my weakness less weak. You make the bottom less deep. You make the waiting feel shorter. You make my crazy feel normal every time. You are the who, love is the what, and this is the why. There are so many problems and no one who cares. There are so many roads and they all need repairs. This is why I need you. There's not enough chocolate and too many chores. There's so many mountains I haven't explored. This is why I need you, 'cause you make the darkness less dark. You make the edges less sharp. You make the winter feel warmer. And you make my weakness less weak. You make the bottom less deep. You make the waiting feel shorter. You make my crazy feel normal every time. You are the who, love is the what, this is the why. You keep the ship moving forward. You make it easy to try. You make my crazy feel normal every time. You are the who, love is the what, this is the why. You are the who, love is the what, and this is the why. You are the who, love is the what, and this is the why.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in your journey of faith or search for meaning, today you are one of us and you are welcome. We welcome all of you here to the sanctuary this morning and those who have opted to join us online. For those here in person, I'll just remind you to please ensure the sound on your devices is turned off. My name is Grace Pollock. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the co-lead of the Children and Youth Religious Exploration Team, or CYRE team for our church. At the beginning of our service, we thank the many people who are helping co-create our experience this morning. Today's service team is made up of members of the CYRE team, myself, Tanya Collins, and Craig Howarth, Pat Dickinson, Stuart McChesney, and Andrew Wallace. I wish to thank them, our youth ambassadors, Maya's Lori Joyce and Nicola O'Shea, and our religious educator, Tim Versteeg. Our music ministers today are Rachel Derry and Emerson Rutherford Parrish. Hymn leading is provided by Charlie Pond and Joanne Deere. The story for all ages will be shared by Pat Dickinson. Our tech team is Chase Tapley, Cindy Carey, and Brian Carey. Our ushers are Doreen Knoll and Angela Morgan. And our worship associates today are Sue Prescott and Ian Johnstone. Thank you all very much. As always in our multi-generational services, our CYRE activity cart is available at the front to borrow items that will help occupy our hands while we listen during the service. Please feel free to come and take a look and move around as you wish during the service. We have the following announcements to share this morning. From Chris McCoy, the Support Services Manager. We are happy to announce that we have a skilled tech help team now available to help you with all technology-related questions. The team is available before and after Sunday service on a bi-weekly schedule beginning April 3rd. The help team consists of Jennifer Wallace and Stu McChesney, so please see them during the tech team's hours of operation if you need assistance, or contact Chris McCoy. Thank you. From Charlie Pond, the Zoomers and Boomers Coffee Social will take place on Wednesday, May 3rd at 1:30 p.m. in Fellowship Hall. Join us as Margaret McFadyen gives a presentation of her travels to Antarctica, South Georgia, and the Falkland Islands. Anyone over 50 is welcome to attend. Masks are encouraged but not mandatory. Light refreshments will be provided. Please RSVP to Charlie Pond, and for more information, contact Charlie Pond or Sue Johnstone. And our last announcement. Join Joanne and Jamie for the last Transitional Ministry Listening Circle of April. We will meet in the sanctuary after service for a guided discussion about your experience here at First Hamilton. These conversations are part of the process of transitional ministry and the preparations for your next settled minister. So please join us. Okay. For further information, I just would encourage you all to check our website and your weekly all-church email. And now comes the chalice lighting part of our service. This morning, I would like to invite the CYRE team, our youth ambassadors, and Max Pollock to come forward and help guide us through the CYRE Children's Chalice lighting words and actions we use in our programs held in Fellowship Hall. The words will be projected on the screen so you can join us. All right. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. Together we care for our earth and work for peace and friendship in the world. To see. It's subject to adaptation. All right. And Anne will help us light our sanctuary. Anne has helped us already light our sanctuary chalice, and thank you, Max. Together we will say our chalice lighting words, which will also appear on the screens above. May this flame be our light of friendship and love. And now I invite Pat forward to share our land acknowledgement.
On this Sunday, after Earth Day, we acknowledge that we are located on the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas on the land covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. This was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. This reminds us of our seventh principle, the interdependent web of all existence, and our earth-centered sources that celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. We regret that we have not always listened to the wisdom of the traditional inhabitants, both past and present, or followed our own principles and sources. We pledge to work together with the original stewards so that we can be more respectful, protecting this land for all those who follow.
Good morning. My name is Tim Versteeg. It is my great pleasure to be the religious educator at the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. Our call to worship today is a responsive reading, and when I gesture thusly, I would like you to say, "Pass it on." Look someone right in the eye and listen to them as if they are the only one in the world at the moment. Let them know that you care. Pass it on. Show someone a picture of something important to you. Pass it on. Share a passion with others, a hobby, a cause, an idea, a creative process that brings energy and joy. Pass it on. Show somebody how to climb a slide. Pass it on. Wear a big, bright smile. Pass it on. Hope for peaceful relations among the peoples of the world, beginning with our own actions towards those around us. Pass it on. Let somebody hug your teddy bear. Pass it on. Point out something of beauty or inspiration. Don't keep it all to yourself. Pass it on. Pass it on, share the big things and the little things that make your life special. Give a piece of happiness and hope to someone, and happiness and hope will come back to you. Pass it on. And please take a moment now to greet your neighbor, maybe holding your hands on your heart and tell them you're happy they're here, and pass it on. And now, as you're willing and able to stand for our next hymn, our first hymn, in fact, we are going to sing Gathered Here, and there are some actions to it which Joanne and Charlie and I will help lead.
Okay, our story today, which will be projected soon on the screen, is about a young girl named Rachel Carson who loved nature and grew up to become a famous scientist. She brought hope to the earth through her careful observations and books about the environment. It was dawn when the chorus began. Chirly, 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 coo, coo, coo. Faboo, faboo, twee, twee. Rachel didn't want to miss a note. As the midday sun warmed the earth, other musicians chimed in. Chip, chip. Bzzz. And you can chime in too. Wait, wait. Beep, 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 beep. Bzzz. Chip, 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 chip. Life and music were all around. And that's especially true if you're doing wildlife habitat gardening, like Mother Nature here. Then you have more animals than ever. Spring was Rachel's favorite time of year. Choo-choo, choo-ee, witchy-dee, witchy-dee, witchy-dee. Turly, 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 turly. As the sun set, she could hear the first bubbles of frog song. Crickets began their nighttime tune, and bats squeaked a lullaby. Chirp, 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 squeak, squeak. As the days grew longer and warmer, the chattering, chirping, and hooting got louder. Click, chip, chip, woo, cheep, cheep, vroom, vroom, click, chit-it, chit-it. Until the gathering calls from migrating birds meant that it was autumn. They were coming together for their long journey through the ocean of air to their wintering homes. Oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh. But not everybody left, because some people built lovely places for them to build their winter homes, like Joanne Tunnicliffe, Mother Nature. So there they were, still making a few sounds. Phoebe, choo, 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 Phoebe. And Rachel, too, was snuggled under a warm blanket. She drew pictures and wrote about the life she experienced all year. She read books about animals and imagined what their lives were like. She continued to be a keen observer in nature. And one day, when it was time for her to go to university, she was sure she wanted to be a writer until she looked through a microscope and saw a small world in a drop of water. Tiny sea plants and animals. Rachel was amazed and in love. She wanted to know more about the very small world made visible by a microscope. She had never been to the ocean, and she was scared to go in the water. But to learn about the creatures in tidal pools, marshes, and the sea, Rachel decided that she would study biology. She put her writing aside. After she finished university, Rachel worked as a scientist and compiled information about the ocean. Now, for her job, she wanted to know what it was like to actually be underwater. She was still scared, but she went anyway. Rachel began to write books about the sea. They were so full of scientific detail and vivid descriptions of the lives of sea creatures that people could imagine those worlds. Rachel became a famous author. But there was something wrong. All around, nature's voices were going quiet. The animals were disappearing. No more sounds. So Rachel did what she did best. She watched closely, listened carefully, and learned as much as she could about what was happening. Rachel put together scattered facts and found the answer. People wanted to kill bugs that ate their plants, bothered them, and sometimes even made them sick. Chemists created new poisons to solve the insect problems that seemed to work and seemed to be harmless to other creatures and humans. These poisonous chemicals were quickly used everywhere in huge amounts because people thought they were safe. But Rachel found evidence that the poisons were not safe. Poisons eaten by microscopic water life were then eaten by tiny fish, which were eaten by little fish and then bigger fish, and then birds like eagles came along and ate those fish. And the eagle eggs got so thin that their eggs didn't hatch. And the poisons in the earth coated the worms, and when those worms were eaten by birds, the birds died. And when bigger animals ate those birds, like a fox, they died too. Rachel wrote a book to tell people what she had learned. The book was called Silent Spring, and it created a huge ruckus. Some people were inspired to change, but many didn't believe Rachel. Are you sure they are safe? They are perfectly safe. Do we have to use so much? Trust us. Are they the only answer? They are modern chemicals for a modern world. Why are we putting them everywhere? They are the answer to our pest problems. Eventually, President Kennedy took notice and began an investigation to find out what was true. Rachel was asked to come to Washington, D.C. and defend her book. She was scared, but she went. Rachel's testimony in Washington and her writing in Silent Spring made people see that they have an effect on the environment and the other creatures that they share the world with. People were inspired to speak up. Congress passed new laws so that nature was treated with more care, and some of the most harmful chemicals were banned. Spring after spring, year after year, people celebrated the earth and the environment because Rachel showed them how beautiful and precious it is. Phoebe, tea, Phoebe, tea, Phoebe, tea. Hey, cheerly, 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 everybody. Cheerly, 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 cheerly. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tanya Collins, and I'm pleased to lead our morning's meditation. It is now time to settle yourself in your seat. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Let the thoughts and worries in your mind melt away. Feel your breathing. Relax your body. Now imagine you are very small. You are in a safe place. A hard shell all around you protects you. You are inside an egg. It is warm. It is safe. All your needs are taken care of. Rest here in your egg. This is the time for new beginnings, new life. All around us, under the ground, new life is forming. Grass, flowers, insects are all preparing to spring forth. There is new life approaching in the animal world, too. The promises and excitement of the season are in the air. Safe within your egg, you too are preparing to spring forth. But first, you are resting, gathering energy that you will need soon. Spend a few moments thinking about your plans for this new time. Is there a project you have planned? Is there something new in your life? Do you have a wish or a hope for this spring or summer? While you rest, safe inside your egg, decide on one or two things you can do to help your plan take shape. Your dream come true. Take this time to rest, to plan, to gather the energy you will need. The time has come. Your egg is feeling tight and cramped. You are rested and ready to greet the world. Stretch your arms and legs as you emerge from your shell. Look around you at this beautiful, glorious world we live in. Remind yourself of what you plan to do. See yourself doing it. See in your mind your plans coming to be. We'll now take 30 seconds of silence, and you can rejoin us when you are ready.
We have one joy to share this morning, and this comes from Joanne Tunnicliffe. Emerging blossoms like pink candy popcorn all over my magnolia color the branches that protect white flowering bloodroot plants below. So, with steaming mug of tea, I enter the morning mist of the forest behind me. 2 morning cloaked butterflies stretch out their black gossamer wings, now freed from their winter den, and circle high into the canopy. Rounding the bend, the garter snake, now warmed by the sun, finds strength to skitter into the meadows. There, 2 iridescent tree swallows dart, twittering over their nesting box. This, dear friends, is what we are destined to protect for our grandchildren today, so they can show their grandchildren. Happy Earth Day. As Rachel begins the music, you're invited to come forth and light a candle for your own joy or sorrow. I lit one last candle for all those joys and sorrows that may be moving some tinder, maybe too tender for us to share with each other yet.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Wallace. The offering we accept each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit ourselves to this community and to our relationship with one another. When we give, we say yes to something that we value. With gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. If you are joining us online this morning and would like to make a donation to the life of this church, there's a button on the homepage of our website which allows you to do so. This morning, our in-person offering takes two forms: our regular collection for the ministries of our church, and the second, a monthly collection for the Eva Rothwell Emergency Pantry. During the offering, you may come forward to the table on the right here with your food and goods donations for Eva Rothwell. If you would like help, there are some enthusiastic kids and youth who can give you a hand as well. Just put up your hand, and they will bring it forward.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark and through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head, a million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house that we can build, where every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things that I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care, so call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head, a million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
Your gifts and support of our ministries to one another and to the community are appreciated. Thank you.
Hope flows across the generations. This morning, our service was created by the Children and Youth and Religious Exploration team, and it's the ministry of this group in our church to highlight and support those programs that involve and center the life of children, youth, and their families in congregational life. And they are essential to my work as a religious educator. But it is not our work alone. In her recent workshop, Building a Culture of Inclusion, Dr. Paula Cole-Jones shared with participants that the two paradigm shifts essential for Unitarian Universalism to remain relevant and vital in this world were to become multicultural and multi-generational. In the last few years, the approach of CYRE is to aspire to make every program in this church a welcoming space for children, youth, and families, and work with other programs and teams in church life to do the same. That means that whatever age a congregant is, they need to be included, celebrated, and a part of our congregational life. We'd like to see every service and space aspire to be inclusive and welcoming to all ages. Consider it this way. The church is one of the few institutions left in Western society that provides opportunities for multi-generational connection. And without connection, there is no understanding, no empathy, no growth. When we connect across the generations, we open ourselves to a joy and laughter that creates bridges between the ages, not the jaded laughter that's an exercise in being cleverer than thou, or one that excludes or divides, but the laughter of community life, rife with all its foibles and challenges. This is grounded in the understanding that perfection is not attainable, and its very pursuit can prevent change and growth. Over the years, I've heard people directly and indirectly in our church comment that they avoid multi-generational services because they feel there isn't anything in it for them, or they find the energy distracting and uncomfortable. It's a kind of reverse ageism that posits that the exceptionality of our lived experiences prevent us from being able to play and participate in the joys of other ages, worshiping alongside us. It's a kind of intellectual snobbery, perhaps, where we think that anything that appeals to the young will no longer have any value or meaning to us. But if we absent ourselves from multi-generational services and events, I think we miss out on the richness that comes from connection with people of other ages. And these events themselves are richest when people of many ages share the gifts of their participation and their presence. I've heard the excuses. I'm not good with kids. Teenagers are scary. And I can't worship with all these distractions. I'd like to encourage you to be open to these experiences, to help that process of personal growth. I'd like to show you some of the things we've been doing in CYRE lately, as Chase calls up the PowerPoint. And at the end of my reflection, I'll offer you a couple of opportunities. I have to turn on my clicker. That'll help. There we go. So a few weeks ago, we had our Easter egg hunt, which we called not your typical Easter egg hunt. We handed out and hid seeds and some funny little jokes that Ann Craig Howarth from our team put together, and some bubbles. And this was the releasing of the hounds. So we stagger the age groups so that everybody gets a chance to participate. That was our older age group. This was the slightly younger age group, which were a little less enthusiastic getting out the door and perhaps didn't see the urgency the older ones did. And this was our youngest participant, as Atticus had his first egg hunt with us a few weeks ago. This again was a younger group, and I think we've seen that one. Yes, they spread quickly. And then last week, and I draw your attention to all the wonderful arrangements in front of us. Last week, we made arrangements for this service, and we were aided in that by Sheila Dunduley and Greg Howarth and a few other volunteers. And we also had to have a fire drill. So we started with our fire drill outside, and as part of the fire drill, we paused a moment and looked at the signs of spring and discussed how things are beautiful at any stage of life, just as human beings' lives are beautiful at any stage of life. And so the pieces that we were collected and arranged may not have been in the bright summer guise of life, but are beautiful nonetheless. And the kids each did a wonderful job. And afterwards, we talked about what we could see in the various arrangements and how they reflected our connection to nature. And as you can see the joy on Anne's face, how much fun it is to involve yourself with other generations. Thanks, Jason. So I'd like to make two invitations to share some of the things we've been exploring in CYRE, but also to join people of maybe not the same age as you for some fun and fellowship. And I know some of you do this. And I know Doyne and Frank aren't going to be able to join us for our next event, but they've been coming to these. And if you want to talk about how fun our games nights are, I think they would be advocates for it. So next Saturday afternoon, we're going to change it up a bit. We have been holding our UU family games nights on Friday nights. But next Saturday afternoon, we are going to meet in Fellowship Hall at 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And we're going to have a potluck, because it's time to have potlucks back. So please, if you're able, come and join us. And at 1 o'clock, we'll have a kind of potluck lunch. And then we will have some board games during the afternoon with various ages. We are starting at 1 because there is another event that some of you may be attending in here, and we didn't want to conflict with that event. It's co-hosted by myself and Audrey Johnman at the back, who loves games. Audrey will bring a new game practically every time we hold this, and we all have to learn a new game, which is kind of fun, actually. And if you think multi-generational activities can't be spiritual, or that children don't have the capacity for deep silence and stillness, I'd like to argue that point with another offering. One activity we've been experiencing in our CYRE programs is labyrinth walking. And walking together in silence. And 2 times we've used our labyrinth this year. Once was with our junior youth, and once in our family chapel earlier this month. And both times, we've had children and youth and adults experiencing together this spiritual practice of silent reflection. Mayas and Lila were good enough to set up the labyrinth for us in Fellowship Hall before the service. And if you have a few moments, we have youth group starting at noon, but if you would like to try the labyrinth, we have it out and ready for you. There's some instructions in Fellowship Hall. I'd ask that people remove their shoes so we can keep it as clean as possible, because I have no idea how I would clean that size of canvas. So I encourage you to try that out, and I encourage you to sort of enter into the frame of mind and the connection to the earth and the connection to the process of the labyrinth. There is, as I say, an explanation in there if you want to have a sense of what it's about. A labyrinth is not a maze. There's only one way in and one way out. And the only person you take on the journey is yourself. When we're isolated, either physically or are in our own viewpoint, it can sometimes feel difficult to feel hopeful. Hope comes from seeing outside ourselves and connecting to other people and nature. By embracing multi-generational ways of doing church, we build our capacity for hope and may experience some laughter and joy to boot. Our connections grow and bonds are formed across generations. Please stand now as you're willing and able, and we're going to join in singing hymn number 121, We'll Build a Land. I'd like to ask the members of the CYRE team to join me for our benediction at the two mics here. Hopefully we know which mics we're going to. This is an A to Z of thanks. We give thanks for the earth and its creatures and are grateful from A to Z.
For alligators, apricots, acorns, and apple trees, for bumblebees, bananas, blueberries, and beagles, coconuts, crawdads, cornfields and coffee.
Daisies, elephants, and flying fish for groundhogs, glaciers, and grasslands, hippos and hazelnuts, icicles, and iguanas.
For juniper, jackrabbits and June bugs, kudzu and kangaroos, lightning bugs and licorice. For mountains, milkweed and mistletoe.
Narwhals and nasturtiums, otters and ocelots. For peonies, persimmon and polar bears. Quahogs and Queen Anne's lace.
For raspberries and roses, salmon and sassafras, tornadoes and tulipwood, urchins and valleys and waterfalls.
For X, the unknown, the mystery of it all, in every yak and yam, we are grateful, good earth, not least of all for zinnias, zucchini, and zebras, and for the alphabet of wonderful things that are simple as A, B, C. I invite you to stay seated as we enjoy our postlude.
A few quick words about the song because it is in French, and I don't know how many of you know French, but I thought I'd just say a few words. So this song is kind of hope for the future, and the chorus roughly translates to, I'd like to make a toast to those who are less fortunate than us, to those who aren't able to be here today to celebrate with us. So that's that. Thank you. Rosa, Rosa, quand on te fout pour tel tu nettoies. Et toi, Albert, quand on te trinque tu ramasses les verres. Céline, Bataire, toi tu prends les vestes au vestiaire. Arlette, Narette, toi le fait tu laves pas cette toilette. Et si on célébrait ce qui ne célèbre pas, pour une fois j'aimerais lever mon verre à ceux qui n'en ont pas. À ceux qui n'en ont pas. Quoi les bonnes manières? Pourquoi je fais semblant? De toute façon les pieds peuvent le faire. Tout prend pour ma mère. Dans une heure je reviens, que ce soit pas pour qu'on puisse y manger par terre. 3 heures que j'attends. Franchement, il les fabrique ou quoi? Heureusement que c'est que te verre. Appelle-moi ce responsable et fais vite, ne pourrait te finir comme ça ta carrière. Oui, célébrons ce qui ne célèbre pas. Encore une fois, j'aimerais lever mon verre à ceux qui n'en ont pas. À ceux qui n'en ont pas. Frotter, frotter, tout pourra toujours te frotter, frotter. Si tu ne me connais pas, brosser, brosser, tout pourra toujours te brosser, brosser. Si tu me respectes pas, oui, célébrons ce qui ne célèbre pas. Encore une fois, j'aimerais lever mon verre à ceux qui n'en ont pas. À ceux qui n'en ont pas. Pilote d'avion ou infirmière, chauffeur de camion, hôtesse de l'air, boulange ou marin pêcheur, un verre aux champions des pires horreurs, aux jeunes parents bercés par les pleurs, aux insomniaques de profession et tous qui souffrent les peines de cœur et qui n'ont pas le cœur aux célébrations. Qui n'ont pas le cœur aux célébrations.
This completes our service in the sanctuary. For those of you on Vimeo, please switch over to Zoom if you'd like to chat and connect with others. For those of you here, we have coffee and conversation in the lobby, or if you're interested, take some time and walk the labyrinth in Fellowship Hall. Have a great week.